You're muted. You are muted. Still muted.
Sorry about that.
Hello. Hello.
Hey.
All
What's
right.
going on, guys?
We haven't learned from 2020.
Welcome back to 2020.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
All right. It is good to have Dwayne Reid on the line, the credit man himself from Reid Financial Services. Am I right?
Solutions.
Solutions.
Yes. We solve problems.
That's the other guy down the street. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. What's going on?
What's going on, Wayne? Listen, just take 5 seconds, introduce yourself, and then we'll talk for a little bit.
Okay, so my name is Dwayne Reid. I am the owner of Reid Financial Solutions, which is a credit repair and credit education company. Our goal is to try to fix as many credit reports as possible and educate as many people on the credit reporting system as possible. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. Just type in the name of the business, everything pops up.
All right, awesome. So, what's the main point of the game here? Credit. What is that? Why should I have a good one?
Well, credit is the ability to obtain something and paying for it later, right? So credit is important, especially in America, because, in order for you to obtain certain things like cars, homes, loans, credit cards, things like that, the bank wants to make sure that you're actually going to give them their money back, right? For instance, I always use the example. You know how you have that friend that always want to borrow $20? Hey, let me hold $20 till Friday. You give him the $20. Friday comes around, he gives you the $20 back. When he comes back to you and say, hey, can I get $40 until Friday? You're not going to hesitate to give it to him because he gave you your money back last time. But if you have a guy that you say, hey, let me borrow $20 till Friday, and Friday comes around, he's nowhere to be found. You trade Tuesday, you run into him, hey, what's up with my $20? Hey, I got you on Wednesday. Then he finally pays you 2 weeks later. When he come back and asks you for another $20, chances are you're going to say no because you had to chase him down for the money, right? So That's all credit is. It's just a system that reports your ability to pay things back. So it's very important to have credit, and I mean not wait until you need it, but it's important to show people over time that you can actually use credit and use credit responsibly. So that's what it's good for.
Awesome. For the person that doesn't know, but like let's say we think about it this way: if you want to buy a house, or if you want to buy a car, or anything substantial, the first thing they check is
your credit report.
Right.
Oh yeah, number one.
And so we want to make sure that everybody knows that in this life, unless you have cash, you don't need credit.
Yeah,
you don't need a credit report.
Unless a lot of cash.
And a lot of cash, right? Yeah. Especially in Jersey, New York. You're gonna buy a house in any of them areas. You need to have some money to do that.
Exactly.
Or excellent credit. So tell us how the first part, or really how you help people along those lines.
Say it again. I'm sorry. Say the last part again.
And how do you help people really start with the repair of their credit report?
All right. Well, step one, you'll be surprised how many people come to me and say they have bad credit, but they haven't looked at their credit report in months or even years. Realize.
Nope, we lost.
They looked at the credit and the credit is bad and they have no reason to, even look at it again.
Mm-hmm. You went out. Your voice went out.
That means he's dropping in and out.
Yeah. Your voice went out. Yeah.
Can't hear you.
Mayday. We are having technical difficulties. That's technology for you, man.
Technology is wonderful when it works.
Can you hear me
Take
now?
two.
Yep, I can hear
Yeah,
you. Yes.
there we
yes,
go.
What
sir.
about now? We good?
Yep,
Yeah,
we
we're
good.
reset.
We good.
All right, just had to take you off the car. Okay, cool. So pretty much the first step is I have to see your credit report. You'd be surprised how many people have bad credit, looked at their credit report one time 2 years ago and never looked again. Right. So first thing you need to do is actually have access to your credit report. We look the credit report over and I pretty much tell you exactly what needs to be done. And we pretty much go from there.
Okay. What are some of the things that you've seen on people's credit report that has been like some of the biggest hindrances?
Number one is student loans. People don't realize that student loans, they if you don't pay them at all, because a lot of people just like ignore them. Student loans, what they do is this, right? They don't report as one account. They'll report on your report as 10 or 15 accounts. They report it based on when the money was given to the college, right? Or the school. So if they paid out, let's say over the time you was at school, they paid out 10 payments, they're gonna put 10 separate accounts on your credit report. So what happens is when those accounts go bad, they look like 10 different accounts going bad on your credit report. So it's pretty, student loans does a lot of damage. That's the first one. The second is usually credit cards. People don't realize that a little $300 credit card can do a lot of damage to your credit report if you don't do it right, because it goes from, the credit card to the late payments to getting, the account charged off. Then you got the collection account. So that one account could damage your report with 4 different impacts.
Wow.
But people think because it's always only $200, but you don't realize what that $200 is going to cost you a couple $1,000 now over time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, I mean, what about like bankruptcies?
Oh, bankruptcies are pretty bad too, but I don't see a lot of those. And usually when I do see them, is usually people that already filed and they're already, trying to rebuild. But bankruptcy is something you could definitely go around. It's not like what it was back in the day where if you filed bankruptcy, your life was just over for a couple of years. Now you can literally walk out the courtroom with that discharge letter and you can start rebuilding.
Wow.
Yeah, one thing about student loans are not covered in bankruptcy. So even if you do declare bankruptcy, they still got you. The student loan is there forever.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Horrible. It's crazy. And for those that don't know, I learned this the other day. Biden was the one that actually wrote the bankruptcy protection for student loans. He wrote that bill.
The bankruptcy protection?
Yeah, putting student loans in bankruptcy protection so people couldn't file bankruptcy and include student loans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, well, I would beg to say that we need to have free schools, free colleges.
Exactly.
I'm petitioning for free colleges. Who was the guy that came up with that in one of his campaigns?
Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. Listen, I would have voted for that. I would have definitely voted for that because
I don't know why people didn't vote for that. I didn't really understand that.
Because they said it's free for the student, but who's paying for it?
But we pay for everything already. So what's the difference?
Somebody's paying for it.
Yeah, but we pay for it. We already paying for everything. So it's like, what's the difference?
If we should say that because this is the point everybody says. The point is that okay, the wealthy pay no taxes, right? But why is that?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Because most of them, they say that the wealthy pay no taxes, right? But why don't they pay taxes?
Because they have the best accountants. Actually understand the tax law.
Exactly. You have to know that tax law is equal for everyone.
Exactly.
What we've talked about is the financial ignorance of most people in this country that don't know how to use the tax law. To the woman we spoke about the other day, who's an accountant, that said, start a home-based business. You don't even have to be profitable yet, and you can write off $4,000 to $8,000 in taxes for business use of your home, car, phone, meals, everything else.
Exactly.
That's where you start.
And
so, people just don't understand it. It's kind of like when Trump, when it came out that Trump only paid like $750 in taxes or something like that, and everybody was mad. I was trying to find out who his accountant was, because that's brilliant. I don't really understand it, but it is what it is.
Kiyosaki puts it really, really, really succinctly. He says he and Donald Trump don't pay taxes because they know the tax system. If you make $1 million, you're taxed on $1 million. But if you borrow $10 million to buy property, now you're in the whole $9 million. You can't be taxed on minus 9 million. So using the leverage, you know, when Dave Ramsey talks about bad credit, leveraging somebody else's money.
Bad debt, bad
good
debt.
Credit, bad debt. Good debt is buying not a single family home, but a 2 or 3 or 4 family home.
Exactly. That's what I do.
So, but do you have to really talk people through this stuff when you're trying to help them out as well?
Oh yeah, because the average person doesn't really understand how this stuff works. A lot of people think that they can't do these things. They think that you got to be, you know, special or something to accomplish these things. And I've had a lot of people that came into my office that just wanted an apartment, and I'll end up getting them, you know, talking them into getting a multifamily. Now they're landlords. Now they own 2-3 properties. I got a guy that came in. His plan was to buy a 1-family house. Now he has like 4 or 5 houses, and he's flipping houses and stuff like that. So once you educate them and show them, yo, all you need is once you get this credit score up, why would you buy a 1-family? That's, you know, that's debt. You can just buy a 2 or 3 family, live in one apartment, you know, and take rent, pay your mortgage, and put money in the bank every month and keep going and going and going. And a lot of them, that's what they actually end up doing, because they don't think that they can actually do that. They think that you got to have $1 million in the bank to do these things. I'm like, no, you don't. You might need 3.5% down, and that's might, you know, unless you run into a program that's willing to give you that money.
Now,
so you can definitely
also,
make it happen.
Right? And also, if you have a credibility, if you have good credit, there's a lot of things available to people that have excellent credit.
Exactly.
Right? Like, what are some of those things that you would find that are accessible to people that have excellent credit?
Man, everything, whatever you need. Once you have excellent credit, you'd be surprised, man. You let's say, for instance, you want to get a car. We already know that when you go into a dealership, you have excellent credit, you get treated differently. Like I tell people this all the time. I said, I bought a car when I had bad credit, and I bought a car when I had good credit. And both times when I bought a car with good credit, it's like they treat you like you're the president, right? They call you Mr. You know, my name goes from Dwayne to Mr. Reid, right? They offer you, you know, something to drink. They got the room. I'm gonna tell you guys a funny story. Me and my wife went to a Lexus dealership. We was looking at a Lexus truck, and they end up having a Benz truck that my wife loved it, right? But we always thought it was outside our price range. They happened to have one, and we got a nice discount on it because our cousin worked for Lexus. So we was like, oh, so we can get this truck for the price in our price range. Okay, cool. So once they ran her credit and seen how excellent her credit was, the guy came back with a big smile on his face. Hey, you're tier 1. You get the lowest rate. If you guys want anything to eat, go into the room in the back. They had a room in the back that had bagels, pancakes, muffins, everything free of charge. Oh, go have, you know, go enjoy yourself while we get your paperwork together. You come back to options. You want your free mats. You know, we fill the tank up for you for free a couple times, free oil change. Like, all these things come out because they realize that you have good credit and you can go anywhere you want to buy a car. So they're going to try to make you stay there. So they're going to do as much as they can, right? But when you have bad credit, they're going to come to you like they're doing you a favor. Oh, you know, we can give you this car, you know. No, you can't go in the back. You don't get no free bagels. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's literally how they treat you. It's like night and day. And I've had clients, I've told this story a couple of times, and I literally just had a client text me. She bought an Audi, and she said, you were so right. When I went in there, you know, to the dealership, and they seen I had good credit, everybody's attitude changed. All of a sudden, I'm getting this, I'm getting that. And I'm like, yeah, because they know you have good credit. You can go wherever you want to buy a car. So they know if you're there, they want you to stay there and buy a car today. Because if you leave, that's a guaranteed sale walking out the door, right? When it comes to buying houses, excellent credit, you get that lower interest rate, that 2 point whatever everybody's talking about. You get that, right? When you're, simple things. Let's say, for instance, you know, somebody gets sick and you need a loan, or, you know, you lose your job and you need, you know, it's a lot of things that can happen in life. Credit affords you for you to be comfortable over a certain amount of time. Like, you know, you can call your credit card company. Hey, you know, I lost my job. I can't pay for 3 months. Okay, cool. We'll put it on the back end because you have excellent credit with us. But when you have bad credit and then you call for these favors, they don't want to talk to you. Hey, you paid your credit card bill late 3 times in a row already. Why would we extend more payment for you? So it just gives you that comfort that you might need.
Wow. So I mean, let's talk about Reid Financial Solutions. Reid Financials. You know how I can remember your name? Because our names are the same. Our last names are the same. So it just kind of rolls off the tongue. But you know, so let's say somebody comes to you, like, for instance, people are concerned about their information, right? because they have to share like their personal information with you. How does that work for Reid Financial? You know, I just want to talk about your business for a second.
Yeah, we are everything we do is confidential. I don't talk about clients. I don't put the information out there. I don't sell their personal information. You have some companies you give me information, they sell your email, your name, your address. I don't do none of that stuff. Everything is one-on-one. The only thing that I post on social media is things that clients told me was okay to post. I don't put nobody's name out there. So we try to keep everything, in-house, because I know credit is not like, at one point it was embarrassing for you to have bad credit. But I think more people are like, they're opening up to it now. More people are wanting to fix their credit. Because I remember when I first started doing this, I didn't want to get an office because I felt like people were embarrassed to walk into a building that says credit repair on it, right?
Right.
But now it's like, credit is so hip now, everybody's into it. So it's like you open a credit business now, people are gonna be running, I want my credit fixed, I want my credit fixed. It's not a secret no more.
Right.
So we try to keep, just try to make people comfortable, not, no he said, she said, their business is not on the street. We secure everything. We have a secure server.
Right.
We have all our file cabinets are locked. So that's pretty much how we keep people information safe.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's important that we share that, because I know that, we have Oscar, who's in the identity theft business, right?
Yeah.
He's shield. Sorry, he's protecting people from identity theft. My identity, my social security was hacked at some point, to where now I have to protect myself like Fort Knox.
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
I mean, once you've been bitten by that thing, you make sure you got, all sorts of different protection for your identity, right? And so, and it was just because I went into a small little place, that I was sharing my information, and of course they scrupulously used it for their purposes, right? Yep. So, where are you located?
Well, we have our office is located at 1233 Clinton Avenue. We should be back open by May. We had a little fire last year, November. At the end of November, we had a little fire, but we should be open back by May.
Okay, but people can still do business with you.
Yeah. You can find me on social media, Reid_financial_solutions. I'm on Facebook, Reid Financial Solutions. Our website, Reid Financial Solutions. Our phone number is 973-375-1000. You can call the office. If you want a consultation to go over your credit report, let us, let you know what you could do. You can go right on the website and schedule a consultation. So we didn't miss a step. We were back working probably the next day after the whole fire incident happened. So, we're still going strong.
Yeah, awesome, man. And we expect you to go stronger, man.
Definitely.
Global.
Yeah, that'd be dope, man. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
That's the goal.
Absolutely.
So one thing you can do with really good credit, I see a really beautiful car behind you. Any story behind that car?
Yes. That will be bought with credits. With my business. That's actually my business credit. So that's a whole nother ball game.
That's funny. One more thing I wanted to cover as far as the vital and the importance of having good credit is work. There's certain jobs that before you even get promoted, you get if you want to work the cash register, they check your credit, right? So when you talk to people about those different areas, like they say to you, man, I'm looking to get this promotion, but they want to check my credit, right? What's your first response to them?
Those are the times when you tell people that this is why I tell people don't wait until you need your credit to fix it. People don't realize how important your credit is, especially if you work in any type of financial job. I don't care if it's a cashier. I don't care if you're the president of a bank. Anytime you're working in these facilities, they always check your credit because they found that people with bad credit have a higher possibility of stealing, right? Good. So I always tell people, don't wait until you need it. I've literally, one time, probably was like 5-6 years ago, I had 3 ladies come for me from immigration. They just signed a new contract. A new company came in and pretty much said, hey, we're doing background checks on everybody, including credit. If your credit isn't up to par, we need to either show that you're actually fixing it, or you need to show us, or we're going to let you go. So they literally came to me and they had to get their credit fixed. I had to write them letters. Hey, we're working on this, this, and this. Send them the letters. Then 6 months later, they came back and said, hey, if your credit isn't fixed by now, because a lot of people just go pay for the letter and walk away from it. They came back 6 months later, like, if your credit's not fixed, you out of here. But luckily they continued the process, and all three of them was able to keep their jobs. But that was 6 years ago. Today, you can't even get a job without, They're looking at your credit. They will deny you. You can have all the experience, you can have all the connections you want. If you don't have that credit, if that credit ain't right, they will deny you that job. And people got to realize how impactful a bad credit score. I mean, it's affecting you, your work history, your car insurance could be as high as 50% higher because you have bad credit. People don't realize how much money they're actually throwing down the drain because of bad credit.
Car insurance?
Oh, yes, as high as 50%. And I didn't even know that. I have a guy that does, he does my insurance guy. He does all my insurance stuff. Mm-hmm. And he told me, he said, look, anytime you fix, when you're done with their credit, have them come get a quote. And I'm like, why? He was like, oh, because insurance companies, when they run your credit, your payment could be as high as 50% higher. And I said, you're paying 50% more car insurance because you have bad credit? And he's like, yes, that's a big factor when it comes to pricing your car insurance. And it's so true. I had people go from like paying $5 something a month to like $2 something a month, all because of their credit score. So I'm telling you, it's attached to everything.
That is now. I heard that they're planning to change the schematics of credit, checking your credit as well. I think the last time we spoke, you mentioned that they're thinking of putting like your light bill and your cable bill and things like that on there.
Yeah, that's supposed to help. That's supposed to help more the minority community because we have those things, but a lot of us don't have credit cards and loans, so our credit scores tend not to be as strong as other people's credit scores. Right. But I mean, they're still doing. You have companies that's doing that already. I know Experian already brought their process out where they're attaching all that stuff to your credit report now. But the way I look at it is, if you could establish credit the old-fashioned way, I wouldn't want to put more stuff like that out there. Mm-hmm. These cell phone companies, they make a lot of mistakes, and last thing you need is for them to report you paid something late when you didn't, right? Then you got to go through the hassle of trying to correct it and everything.
No, that's so true. That's so true. Especially, like, for instance, my cell phone company got bought out, and it's been chaos ever since. Yeah. So, with some final words, Oscar, you got anything else?
No, I've been listening carefully and just making notes about everything that affects the credit score. And one thing that Dwayne didn't mention is the ratio of debt to income and your amount of how much is
credit card
on your
usage.
Credit card, all of that, and how all that affects. So I remember that from the last.
Yeah, that's called debt. That's called a debt to credit ratio. So you have, it's two different terms, right? You have debt to credit ratio is your credit card usage compared to your credit card balances on your credit report. Debt to income ratio is a real estate term they use to see how much debt you have compared to how much money you have coming in. So people tend to make that mistake when it comes to the credit report. But on the credit report, all they care about is your how much credit limits you have compared to how much debt, how much credit you're actually using, right? So that makes up 30% of your credit score. So it's actually like, look at it like this, right? Your payment history is 35% of your credit score. Your debt is 30% of your credit score. So just by maintaining your payments on time and keeping your credit card balances low, you can have a decent credit score just by doing those two things. But that's the whole 30% rule. You don't want to use more than 30% of your actual credit card limits. People forget that credit is supposed to be an extension to your cash. So if you're using more than 30% of your credit, they assume you don't have no cash. So they drop your credit score so you won't be able to get more credit, or get more credit will be difficult for you, and you'll get like higher rates and stuff like that because they look at you as high risk at that point because you're using more than 30%. So I always tell people, try not to use more than 30% of your credit limits. And the way to fix that is, there's two ways you can trick that, right? The first one is make it 30% larger. So let's say, for instance, you have one credit card that's $100, and you say, man, what am I gonna do with $30? Well, get another $100 credit card, get a $500 credit card, get a $1,000 credit card. Now you're 30% away from $30 to $300. So that's how you kind of do it. The second way is the trick. It's called a bumper credit card, right? So because they add up all your credit card limits together and all your balances together, and that's how they come up with that number. What you can do is you can get a credit card that you don't really use that helps keep you under 30%. For instance, I have about 193,000 in credit cards right now. My 30% is literally $60,000. So I would never use 30% of the highest I've gone is probably 10%. I would never use it, right? So What I tell people to do is try to build up as much credit as you can, figure out what that 30% is, and stay under that number. So I know I would never use $60,000 in credit. I just don't do that. So I would never in life go over 30%.
Wow, that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah, it's called the bumper. I call it the bumper credit card effect.
And that leads back to our last show that was saying you need to put down on paper how much is coming in, how much is going out, and how much is still on credit.
Yep.
And have those figures in front of you so you know exactly. So you don't run up that 30%.
Exactly.
You're actually seeing the actual numbers every month.
Exactly.
Now, what about that person that has already made that mistake? Right? They're like, they've already done that. And,
already ran it up?
Yeah, because like, think about it. Like, we're talking about COVID now, right? And so you have those people that before COVID, they were just like, I got this card, man.
Yeah.
$10,000, and they would pay it. And because they were making good money, they were kind of able to maintain their credit score and then, kind of like pay it off and then you'd use it again and then pay it off. But now it's like they use it because that's probably the only thing they got.
Yeah.
And it's been worked down to scratch. Do you have any advice for that person?
A lot of times just call, don't wait until it goes bad, right? If you realize that you're in a jam, call the credit card company as soon as possible. A lot of times they can freeze the account. They can lower the interest rate for you while you just make the minimum payments. They'll give you a couple months. They might say, hey, for the next 3 months, we'll freeze the account. Just pay the minimum payments on time. And in 3 months, we revisit again and tell you what your options are. Don't wait until the card is, closed and charged off before you want to do something. Because at that point, they don't want to talk to you no more. You already allowed the account to go bad. A lot of times they'll go as far as 6 months before they close an account. So if you realize that you're in a jam and you're getting tied up, pick up the phone and call them. A lot of people don't realize you can solve a lot of problems just by making a phone call. Let's say your car note, you can't make a car note this month. Pick up the phone and call. Hey, I've paid on time for the last 2 years. I lost my job. I can't make my car note this month. A lot of times they'll say, okay, we'll put that to the back. You're good until next month. So just call and see what the options are. Don't wait until it gets bad. If you're going to pay late, pick up the phone and call. Hey, I'm going to pay late. Is there anything I can do to avoid, these late payments? I can pay on this date. And they always have options.
Anticipate.
Yeah, because they know life happens. These companies, they know that. They always have things in place. But what happens is people usually wait too long to the point where their account is 3-4 months behind. Now they want to call and say, hey, I'm in a jam. Well, we noticed that already. But unfortunately, we can't help you now because you're out of the range.
Right. You're
so pick up the phone and call.
Yeah, exactly.
Too little, too late.
Too little, too late.
Yeah, exactly.
Dwayne, man, it's always good to have you on, bro. You share some really vital information, and I think it's important that people learn this stuff. I think that it's not taught enough. I remember when I was going to college, I share this story all the time because it sticks out to me. I went to college. I didn't know what credit was. And then after orientation, outside of the door is a line of banks with credit cards.
Yep.
With kids that have no clue
what credit is.
Or
credit
cash,
is.
or jobs.
Right? Or jobs. And so, they go in the lobby, and these kids are signing up for credit cards without a job. Right?
They don't even realize they're setting themselves up for failure.
One of my friends got a $10,000 credit card without a job.
Wow.
I'm saying. So it's like, he's, he probably still paying that off.
Exactly. He definitely is.
Yeah.
Definitely is. And that stuff follow you around for up to 7 years, man.
Dave Ramsey had a woman on his show that said same thing. The kid ran up a debt, but he had no job. And he said, lady, that's a special kind of stupid.
Special kind of stupid. It definitely is, though. Right about that.
But we don't know what we don't know.
That one. You know,
But that's how they get you. They take advantage of you.
yes, they do.
Yeah.
And they start early. They got a plan.
Oh yeah. Because they know that you can't pay that back, so they're gonna make as much interest off you as possible. A lot of times these kids just take these cards out. They don't even have bank accounts to even pay the bills.
Right.
You know, to even set up a payment plan or nothing. They don't know nothing about that.
I saw this. Let's put it this way to let you know how much they know how much they're doing, setting you up.
Yeah, they know they're doing.
I saw this promotion the other day for a credit card, and it says, "We will give you more money if you max out your card."
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're like max the card out,
and
we'll give you a little extra to push it over the edge.
And don't realize if you're maxing the card out, you're using that credit card irresponsibly. So that's not something you want to help.
but they lure you into that trap. Right. And what I love about what your business does is that it helps people be aware that it's debt.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't handle it like your job where you're going to get a check every 2 weeks or every week.
Exactly.
Right. It's debt. So you pay when you buy something on your credit card, you owe somebody.
Yeah.
And they're charging you additional money.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? Credit card is expensive money, man. That's what it is.
It's expensive money.
I tried to share this background, and you can only see a part of it, but the whole thing says student loan paid faithfully for 23 years, borrowed 26,400, paid back 32,700, still owe 45,276 and 63 cents.
That is crazy.
So if I can get that, education used to be a pathway out of poverty. Now it's a highway lifetime to oppressive debt.
That is crazy, man. That is crazy.
And that's the other thing. No bankruptcy, no forgiveness.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? And we can't even blame. I know a lot of people, they want to put the blame of the student loan crisis on the government. It's not really the government's, fault, because it's these schools. They've been raising their prices consistently for the last 10 years?
Yes, sir.
And no one's saying nothing. No one's regulating them. No one's saying, hey, why are you charging double for what you charged 10 years ago? It's crazy. And the government is like, oh, here you go. Just keep whatever you charge, we'll pay you.
Right.
So that's part of the problem. So I know a lot of people want to just forgive student loans, but you need a plan. You need to cap the cost of education somehow, or cap something. So that way this problem, because if you forgive the student loans today, where are we going to be at in 10 years? You're going to be right back here again.
That's it.
So
that's it, man. Well, what's your final word, Dwayne? Because we got to get going. We ran out of time.
Reach out to us. Like I said, man, we're real big on education. I don't like returning clients, so we try to educate as many people as possible. Educate our clients so they know exactly, how credit works, why it works, what they need it for, why it's important. A lot of times, clients that come back to me tell me what's wrong with their credit report. Right? They'll come back and say, "Hey, I had this 2 late payments. And I had this collection account pop up. That's why my score dropped. Can you help me with that?" They know exactly what's going on, and that's our goal. But I just want people to, when it comes to credit, educate yourself. To go watch YouTube videos. Take a course if you want to. I just need us to understand how important credit is. Credit is literally the leverage to get you, out of poverty, up to the next level, into the middle class, right? Into understanding, once you understand credit, when I tell people, once you understand credit, so many doors open, they think I'm just talking. The door is just open for you. It's like everything is like, oh, I can get that house with this interest rate. I can buy that car with this interest rate. I can take out a loan with that interest rate. It's like you go from wasting thousands of dollars to, buying. For instance, I'm buying my truck was, I want to say 85,000. And when I'm done paying on that truck, I'm going to pay 87,000. So they're charging me $2,000 in interest. $2,000. When I know people that's buying $10,000 cars and paying $18,000 by the time they're done with it. That's how much of a difference your credit makes. You know what I mean? So I just want people to understand how important this is, man. This and it ain't going nowhere. It's only getting worse.
Yeah. It's not. You're not going to get any better situation.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Man. But thank you so much, Dwayne. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to have Mikhail coming up next. So stay tuned, and we'll see you then. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right, cool.
Bye.